Welcome back to Rules of Engagement. We're now on the Q&A section of the show. We've got a question from Louis Manca, and it's, when self-analyzing replays, how do you break it down? How do you get an objective view of your own play? It's so easy to make excuses for yourself. This is something that's very true. I mean, I think it's a very human nature to not want to blame yourself for losing the game. I mean, everyone's seen, even the best of the pro gamers often put exterior conditions as to why they lost. But the key thing here is to separate yourself from actually caring if you won or lost the game. If you try to analyze your play not caring if you won or lost, then all of a sudden, once that kind of just is pushed out of the picture, you're just saying, you know what? I'm going to look at how many probes I built. And that's all I care about. I don't care about the rest of the game. You analyze a certain piece of the game at a time. You break it down into pieces, analyze each piece. And when you take a piece out of the whole picture, you'll get less emotional about it because you're like, well, maybe I did this bad, but I'm still a really good player overall. Instead of, if you try to analyze your whole play, you're like, well, I couldn't have done it all bad, so there must be some weird condition outside. If you take a little piece at a time, it's a little bit easier to emotionally distance yourself from the analysis. And it's especially easy to do so if you, in fact, create benchmarks for yourself. And so you want to analyze your micro, take a look at the army values going into the battle and say, I want to be, even on micro with my opponent. And you can tell whether or not that happened. You want to analyze your worker production. Have a minute in the game, like by 10 minutes, I want to have this amount of workers. And see if you did it or not. And if you need to move that benchmark easier or more difficult to accomplish. And that way, it's a very objective way of assessing yourself, and you don't get so emotionally involved with it. So let's jump to another question. It's going to be from Spencer McDonald. It's, any tips on getting back into SC2 1v1? I.e. basically Fear the Ladder. I keep getting caught up watching streams instead of playing. So the short answer is, you know what? If you're having more fun watching streams than playing, keep watching streams. The only reason you're playing Starcraft 2 is for fun anyway, right? I mean, unless you're a pro league player or you're a top professional, you're playing Starcraft for fun in your free time. If you find yourself having more fun watching streams, go for it. Watch more streams. Same thing like, you're going outside and playing football, right? If you rather go and watch the NFL on your TV, just go ahead and do it. It's more fun. In fact, there's actually almost more incentive in Starcraft because they're roughly the same for your health, right? Playing a video game or watching is roughly the same health effects, unlike a real sport where you're getting some exercise when you go out and play. So the short answer is don't worry about it, right? If you're afraid of laddering, don't ladder. If you really kind of want to ladder, like there's something that like, I want to get silver, I want to get gold, but I'm just afraid of it, that fear ladder, the best way to get over that is actually the same way I talked about how to critique your play, is whereas you have to find a way to not care if you win or you lose, right? You could even do something where if you find yourself getting really frustrated, give yourself a small reward for your losses. It can't be too big a reward or you'll lose in purpose, but let's say you're someone who really likes chocolate or something, right? You say, okay, every time I win a game, I'll keep playing. Every time I lose a game, I'll break off a little piece of chocolate, and that'll kind of neutralize the loss, so psychologically I won't have that fear of losing anymore. That's a good way. Or even some people try to reset their mind between games. Maybe after you play one game, do 20 push-ups, then jump into the next game. And that way you kind of de-stress yourself between games and you don't get that anxiety build-up a lot of people get about ladder. I mean, there's a bunch of techniques for dealing with that problem. If you can't find a good one, just don't worry about it. Enjoy yourself watching the streams because, I mean, that's what I do a lot of time, my free time as well. It's pretty fun to watch some good tournaments. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Rules of Engagement. We'll be back on Monday at 5 with some Heart of the Swarm action on a King of the Hill series. Whoever wins stays on. TT1's the current champion of that with 5 wins. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday, we'll have our next episode of Rules of Engagement. See you next time, guys.